Hey you, have you ever found yourself in the situation where you've made this bomb skin and it looks amazing, but it just needs a little something? So you try adding a bow to it, but your bow ends up looking like two stretched out rubber bands. I'm gonna take you along the journey of learning how to make some of the coolest bows, and the best part is each bow takes less than like 2 minutes for you. I've already prepared a skin, so I'm gonna turn the skin to the back side. The first bow we're doing is the most popular one amongst the Coquette aesthetic. I see it mostly worn in half up, half down hairstyles. I've put up a reference here on the screen so you guys can see the shape language of this particular bow. There's typically 5 main shapes that make up a bow. I'm beginning with the overlay completely off, and I'm placing 2 pixels one by one right beside each other, whatever color you want. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and turn that overlay back on, and on either side of the shape we just made, we're gonna go ahead and place 2 by 2 squares right beside it. Real quickly, just turning that overlay back off, we're gonna select a darker color, and underneath we're gonna put 1 pixel on either side. Then we're gonna turn the overlay back on and then extend the bow over to the edge of the head. The next step, we're gonna make sure the overlay on the head and the back of the torso is on, and just drawing the tail ends of the bows. But the overlay that I ended up drawing on the head, I'm gonna go ahead and erase. I'll go ahead and mirror what I did on the other side on the torso with the overlay. I like mine to have a little bit of a curl at the end with this style. Next, turning the overlay completely off, I'm gonna go ahead and connect those tails to the actual bow. And then to complete the shape, we're gonna extend the overlay down just a little bit more. Now we're just gonna move on and get a tiny little bit of basic shading done. I'm selecting a shade that is slightly darker than our current color and place it as shown on screen. I'm gonna grab a slightly darker color from that past shade, and we're gonna create the illusion of depth. I'll be switching back and forth between turning the overlay on and off, so watch the screen carefully. Right here, I decided I would shorten the tail ends of the ribbon real quick. And now we can get to shading them. Now I'm taking a really light pink color and I'm adding highlights to the bow, mainly sticking to the high points and to emphasize the curls on the tails. Now we've completed the back of the bow, now we just have to connect the edges, which is as simple as copying the color that you have on the back and just bringing it over 1 pixel to the side. Don't forget the underside too. Don't want to have a disconnected bow. I'm also not forgetting the top of the torso either. And that completes our first bow. The next bow we have up is a little bit more simpler than the past one. The tails don't extend off of the head. I am starting with the same base again though. So we're beginning with the overlay off, and we're gonna create a 2 by 2 square in the middle of the head. Following that, we're gonna go ahead and turn the overlay on and create 3 by 2 blocks on either side. Then we're gonna extend those on the overlay upwards. Then we're gonna turn that overlay off, and we're gonna make the tails with the darker shade. So go ahead and place 2 2 by 2 blocks right beside the first one. Then you're gonna make a little stair-like pattern and extend it downward. Now that we've got this overall shape of the bow done, we're gonna go ahead and get some shading done on the actual bow. Some people like to add the overlay for the tails on this one, but I prefer to keep the tails on the body instead of the overlay. Now underneath the overlay, I'm gonna go ahead and make a rainbow shape with a lighter color. And from there, I'm just adding shading in bits and places. Next, all we have left to do is add the highlights. And if you see fit, don't forget to do the highlights on the tails of the ribbon. So we've practically finished this bow. So let's just go ahead and connect those edges so it doesn't just have a weird cut off. And shucks, it looks like I forgot to shade the underside of the hair. You wouldn't have noticed if I didn't point it out, right? So here's the last bow that we have to do on this base, and then we'll move on to a different kind of bow. This bow is asymmetrical, so we're just gonna put down 1 pixel on either side of the head. Then we'll turn the overlay button on, then we'll make 2x2 squares on either side. We're turning the overlay button off, and we're gonna make 2 downturned V's with a darker color. And y'all are gonna love how simple the shading on this one is. It's so fun. The shades go on the bottom part of the 2x2 and the highlights go on the top. And that's it for this bow. I told you it was simple, didn't I? Okay, moving on, I've created another base. I added cute little ribbons to her boots in the back, but I'll show you how to make those in a little bit. Stay tuned. So as you can see here, this base has space buns. So I figured it would be cute to have little bows in the space buns to match the boots. So like all the past times we've made bows, we're gonna go ahead and start with our base color. We're gonna turn off that overlay, and we're gonna draw 3 pixels across on both sides. These 2 lines are gonna be barely visible from underneath the space buns, and I'm gonna go ahead and add those tails real quickly. I also tweaked the back of the bun. Then making sure that overlay button is still off, we're gonna go ahead and do some very quick shading on these bows. Now all you have to worry about is extending those bows over to the sides of the head, and you're done. We're gonna switch it up now, and we're gonna turn to the front facing part of the skin. This bow is gonna be in her hair, so go ahead and turn off that overlay, and we're gonna make 2 V's that meet at the point. Once you've done that, go ahead and select a darker color and put them on either side of that point. And I'm gonna erase any hair that is in the way on the overlay. And I'm gonna do the shading and highlights really quick on this one. Once you're finished, don't forget to draw it over to the other sides. This one kind of looks like candy for some reason. Okay, moving on, we have another bow that will be in the bangs also. This one is really cute and simple, so I'm just gonna let you guys watch for this one. And here's the last hair bow that we have. Turning that overlay off, we're gonna go ahead and draw a 3 pixel line. I'm gonna do 2 pixels on the ends of each of those and erase anything that might be in the way in the center. And then go ahead and draw the 2 ends of the ribbon. Lastly, we'll add the highlights and we'll drag those pixels over to the side. So I'm going back to that first base that we used in the beginning of the video, and I figured you guys might want like a bow tie tutorial. So this one is not like a traditional bow tie, it's more of a Coquette bow tie. So I figured I'd show you how to make it anyways. I started off with the line on the base, and then I went on the overlay and I did 2 U's that are on their side. Here I'm making sure that the overlay is off and I'm doing the tail ends of the ribbon. And now I'm just getting some quick shading in done like I did with the rest. And you're done, dude! And now you're a professional bow maker. Just look at how happy they are. Guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I haven't made one since May of 2020, so it's gonna take a little while before I can fully get back into the swing of things, but I hope it makes sense. I hope you guys learned something, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!